Okay, here we are. Take episode 8, take 63. Welcome to the Joe and Todd Show. This is episode 8. I'm Todd Wade, and this is...
I'm Joe Mathis. It's so good to be here. We are in our new temporary offices. You can see behind us. We kind of changed things around a little bit.
We had a small flood upstairs.
Small flood. Water coming through the ceiling. Have to put that picture in your show notes.
You're right. Put the video of me walking through the water in the show notes.
So we're under complete renovation in our offices. And
all new walls.
New ceiling, new floor. Nothing else. That's it.
Yeah. But we saved all of our stuff. So that was great. We were actually there and when it happened. So it turned out really... we're very thankful.
Very, very grateful. Within 2 hours, we had movers moving us to this kind of storage room. Home. 8th floor. We're down a couple of floors. So anyway,
today we're going to talk about 10 ways to get more business.
It's one of my favorite topics because it is how we met.
Yeah.
That was our goal.
That's true.
We met each other trying to get more business.
Trying to network and meet people and make friends and find more business and ended up having coffee together and
your brother said you need to meet Joe.
Yeah,
because he knows
everybody who knows everybody.
No, because Chad knows. Anyway, so 10 ways to get more business. And for you guys who are just starting out, or if you've been a long time event planner, this is a struggle for all of us, and we know that. Just how in the world do we creatively get more business? And I think for a long time I relied on the fact of we have word of mouth, and that's the best thing, and it's still the best thing. But I definitely think in this competitive world we're in with technology, everything else, there's lots of other ways. So number 1, expand and carefully maintain your network. What exactly does that mean to you, Todd?
Well, I think it's just something you're pretty amazing at. You're constantly building your network and collecting friends, I guess, if you will. Your Facebook friend list is pretty extensive, and I just think that's important.
Someone a long time ago told me that you need to see everyone as a potential client. So everyone you meet, whether that's a delivery guy, your postal worker, your mailman, whatever, you got to see them as a potential client or someone who will refer you. And I think that's extremely, extremely valuable. One of the things we do a lot is just try to remember who we've met. And so a lot of times at the end of the day, we'll throw our business cards out on the table of this is who we've met today and try to jot those people down, get them on our mailing list and make sure our mailing list is up to date too. I think that's an important
we've
part.
been working on hard lately.
Yeah, it's a battle, I think, of just keeping that up to date. That, I can look through our mailing list sometimes and go, oh, wow, we've really offended some people because we had their name spelled wrong or
the wrong company.
Yeah, they're divorced now or whatever, and I think, wrong company name. And so that's a continual thing for us in our office is just making sure we're keeping up to date. We have our clients, we have our vendors, we have potential clients, people we know, and we're definitely in that acquisition stage of our mailing list. We're trying to build it. We're not trying to take people off. We're trying to make it stronger and making sure we add the right people and get people on there. So
I think that's, the mindset that you've taught me a little bit is just be a connector of people. Put people together, and even if it's not benefiting you directly, just being known as a person who can connect people to other people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things we have breakfast sometimes with a vendor of one of our clients, and even though he's actually in landscaping, he's not anything we're related to. And it's amazing to me how much comes from those. Although we've used him on an event. He has been a vendor. Yeah, he's been a vendor for us. But we love our friendship with him and our relationship with him, and it's amazing to me just how much comes from that on so many levels, including connecting him to the right people and him connecting us to the people, and I know good business will come from that as well. We have similar traits of our business, similar personalities in our business, and I think that says a lot about us, and so that's very important.
I think just maintaining relationships with your peers in the industry too is really important as part of that network, not just potential clients, but other event planners.
Yeah,
maintaining relationships with them because things happen, and they move on to whatever, and they can pass business on to you, and vice versa. And it's helpful to keep
it's interesting. We were
relationships.
getting ready for this podcast and kind of went through our current clients, some of our favorite clients, and just started identifying where did they come from. How did we get them to start with? And I thought a lot of them would be kind of that word of mouth, which they were, but a couple of them came from vendors that we know. A couple of them came from, one was kind of an accident, almost that we even became their supplier. We became their person. And I think it's an interesting thing, interesting exercise for you too, is to think about who are your clients that you like and how did you get them, and do more of that sort of, definitely that. Number two is expand your services, diversify. That frightens me. What's that? Say yes to everything? What do you mean by that?
Well, I think having a mindset of being willing to do whatever your client asks you to do is certainly important, and opens other opportunities for you. Of course, you have to be selective, and you don't want to take on more than you can handle. But if you are able to outsource even that piece of work to someone that you trust as a vendor, and that goes back to knowing people who know people. If you know someone who can take care of that, then you need to say yes to your client, and that's going to get you more work and just qualify you as the person who knows.
And just build your relationship with them. We talk a lot about one of our largest client came from a phone call with them asking for tablecloths, and that was not something we do. It's like, well, we don't really rent tablecloths. We can go to a rental company and get them. And they said, do you rent tablecloths? I said, sure, yes, we do. And in that 30-second decision time, it was kind of like, yeah, I think it can definitely be a good thing for us, and we can definitely do good things with this client. And so I said yes.
You kind of won you over to them as a person who can do it, who can get things done.
I also heard in her voice that day of just a relief, like, you can? And I knew, okay, she's called several people, and now we're meeting a need that I had no idea what we're signing up for. And it was a huge undertaking, but 15 years later, very well worth it. Very well worth it.
So the flip side to that coin is number 3, which is narrowing your services, actually specializing in something, and going deep in a certain aspect of what you do. And I think that one of our good friends says the riches are in the niches, which I like that a lot. John Bunn says that, or he got it from somebody. I don't know where it came from, but he's always talking about the more you specialize, the more people will seek you out and look for your services.
And I think that's definitely true with even what I've done in the course of event companies. The last company I owned, we kind of purposed to do everything. We had a props division, we had flowers, we had rentals, we could do whatever. And really, by the time that Todd came along and we started Rumble Drum, I knew at that point we need to downsize. We're doing too much. We're too spread out. There's so many capable people to do these other things I'm doing. I need to find them and help them to succeed. And so
you had brought a lot of things in-house that you didn't really want to be doing.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a really good thing for us, is to really simplify what we do, narrow our services, really figure out, of course, with your architect's background.
In some ways, it's actually expanded our capabilities because we're able to outsource to multiple people. We don't have to do it all ourselves.
Not managing something being built in the warehouse. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Number 4 is expand your services to existing clients. And I think this is something that's often overlooked, of where you are meeting with a client and figure out something else they need done. I've used the example before of there's a client I was talking to them one day. They really needed to reduce some of the stuff in the reception area and make it more about their company. And I didn't speak up, and I didn't talk about the museum that needed to happen or any of that. And a couple of years later, I went back and, there they are showing me all the new stuff that their advertising agency did. And it's kind of like, wow, I don't even think I definitely could have done that for them. I definitely could have made that happen. I knew them so well. And, we actually could have used some of the stuff.
We realized that relationship with your client is so valuable. You spend all this time working on an event with somebody, and you get to know them. You get to know their culture and the people,
their history,
and the organizational structure and everything. that can carry on to so many other opportunities. Take advantage of that.
Definitely, think about how can you expand your services with your existing clients. What can you do more? How can you make that better? How can you make it a better relationship? Mm-hmm. So the number 5 is leverage existing vendor relationships. And that's also one I love a lot, because I think, our vendors are the ones who refer us a lot of times, whether that be a venue or a rental company or AV company. They're quick to refer us. And I really value our vendor relationships. I don't know that we always do it as well as I'd like to do it, but our goal is to be their favorite client, their best client. And we try to go about that way, whether that means getting them information on time, making sure they're taken care of. One thing we'll do a lot of times is making sure they have meals to eat if they're on site, making sure they're taken care of that way. And I think it's part of our responsibility, but I want them to refer us to other clients that they have that need us and need our services. If they know, very important.
Yeah. If they like us, they're going to refer us. That's good.
Number 6.
Are we already on number 6?
I know. Wow. This is great.
Market to a targeted list of potential clients.
This is a new one for us, but a couple of years ago we sat down and made a list of who are people in this world that we would like to be our clients. Who are they? And we just kind of pretty easily in an afternoon, I think we maybe the first time we did, I think we went to the library and sat in a little pod room and just kind of talked all about almost a retreat of who all do we want? What can we dream about? And we made that list, and it was pretty cool. The number 1 client that we want on that list, we've recently learned that they don't need in-house services. So let me back up for a second. So when we figured out this client that we want, the potential client, this targeted group, we began friending people from there. We began looking for them wherever we were. Oh, you're there. Okay. You're on that board. You're doing this. Let's figure this out together. Or you're on LinkedIn. I want to hook up on LinkedIn. Or we actually drove by their place sometimes just to kind of know, hey, what are they doing? They're doing a building project. We know that's going on. And this is a company it's a national company, has local roots not far from our office, but they have 1,000 employees, but they're very stealth. They're very quiet. You can't always tell what they're doing. And so it's kind of fun to kind of figure that out. Well, we learned recently, what I started to say a while ago, that they do all their events in-house. And so they don't really use outside people for event planning. And I moped around for a couple of days. It was kind of well, so, our number 1 target there, need to take off. And then it kind of hit me. I think Todd said, we don't know when they will start using outside. We don't know what that's going to look like, but we've got to be the first ones they call. And so that's only strengthened what we're doing with them. Maybe it's 5 years from now, but if we're going to continue to try to build that relationship, target them through even advertising, targeting them through friend requests on LinkedIn or Facebook, or
just staying in front of them.
Yeah.
Keeping those relationships going, and just looking for an opportunity. And at some point it'll come.
Yeah,
you just got to be ready for it.
Absolutely. So don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid to make your list and really go after it.
One other company we had on our list, which was kind of fun, was another large company, and I'm going to try not to tell who this is, but we started kind of poking around to the a graphics company, and then we started and then a PR company called us and said, hey, we need help with this thing. And then we started poking around with the chamber, and they knew about what was going on. And so had all these little tentacles kind of poking in to this big event that was happening, and we ended up getting involved. It just happened that we got a call from this PR company.
It almost seemed accidental.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow, this is crazy. Yeah, so, absolutely.
You never know. Put your goals out there and start working towards them.
Absolutely. I love that. Number 7 is increase your visibility. And this has been a fun one for us as well. Something we've really just started working on the last set of months, honestly, to just make sure we're visible. I will say right up front, when I first went into the event business years and years ago, someone said something about, if you have to go after clients, you're not really good, or some kind of comments that people make. I heard someone say, if you have to go out of town, that means you didn't succeed. Just all this stuff that people say sometimes. It's like, that really hit me. And so it's like, okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to, I want to be quiet. I want people to refer me. I want people to have to chase after me and come find me. And, after a while you realize that doesn't work. People, if they can't find you, they're not going to call you. And you need 6 or 7 touches of somebody before they think of you. And so we've really ramped that up this last season of doing greeting cards, doing birthday cards, doing social media. We actually hired a social media consultant. I really was well worth the money. They were able to help us with some of our search engine optimization, SEO, really think through that, think through some of our mass information. We had different phone numbers on different sites, and that was causing some hangups. We had different websites a couple times. And
you can now find us on Google Maps.
Yeah, you can find us everywhere now, actually. Like 98 different social medias. I didn't even know there was that many social media.
Some of them I've never even heard of.
It's crazy. But for them to come in and help us, I think has just been a win for us, and really, really recommend that. So along with that, we just kind of started doing a ton of stuff. One of the things we did was the mashup luncheons, and I think that was pretty cool. You want to explain what?
It's fun. And we've just done it a few times. We had several on the books, and then of course the whole virus thing came up. But we were getting together vendors and some potential clients and clients that we know, and just getting 4 or 5 people together with us for a small lunch, and just catered a simple luncheon. But it was an opportunity for us to all meet each other. We knew everybody at the table, but they didn't all know each other. And so it was just kind of an effort to introduce them to each other and just kind of act as that connector of people again, like we were talking about in number 1, maintaining that network of people.
And even getting them to our office, I think was a win for that. And I'm not sure any of those people are going to be a direct client. That's a different kind of a stream, but I think every one of them could recommend us to somebody, could come back and call us for a reason. So it's, again, building those relationships, very, very, very important. So number 8 is also probably one that's just I'm extremely passionate about, and that's letting your current clients know that you want more clients like them, and
taking advantage of that existing client relationship again.
I think
that referral network, basically.
It continues to amaze me that people don't think of you wanting more business and referring you, and you have to kind of ask them. You have to kind of tell them and get it out there.
Well, there's kind of, people see you busy, and maybe they feel like you're overwhelmed or something. They don't feel like you want more business, but we're always looking for more business. Who isn't? And so just putting that out there to people and saying, hey, yes, we do want more business. Send stuff our way.
We do a lot of corporate stuff, and we have we have several clients that we do some in-home stuff for. And one of those times, we do a lot of their in-home parties. And I remember saying to them, hey, I just realized you're on a national board for this organization. I'd love to do their event. And she gave me this look like, oh, I didn't even think about that. You want to do more corporate work? Like, yeah. I do. And so definitely don't forget to say that to them. Don't forget to tell them that. Number 9 is a sensitive topic, but I definitely think it's worth saying. And
a couple of good stories here.
Yeah, I don't want to be misunderstood with this. I have a really good friend who's in the music industry, and she lives in Nashville. And she and I were talking one day, and she just told me this story, who had just recently moved to Nashville from New York. And so she calls her or emails her, whatever. I don't know how she got through her gatekeeper, and says, hey, I want to do your events for you for free. I'm new to town. I'm trying to figure out local vendors. I'm trying to understand things. I'd just like to throw a big party for you. And the only cost to you would be, the expenses of it, the food and whatever. And so they end up having this cool event. My friend has a farm. Out on the farm, invited all these people in, and this event planner put together this amazing party. And it's actually a cool story because she ended up having the party for a friend who was dying of cancer. And so it's kind of like their last get together. That's a whole side note. Anyway, so we're just talking about it. And so I came back thinking, who would be a cool person that I could approach and say, the same thing of like, hey, I want to do your events for free. And I picked someone who was very, very known in my community. We wanted to do more in-house parties, like I was talking about. And so I just approached this person and sent him an email actually and said, hey, for the next 6 months, I'd like to learn more about doing in-home parties. I really like working with you. I know what you do a lot in the corporate world. And so, anytime you want to have an in-house party, I'm here for you free of charge, and made that very clear. And it was really cool. So the next day they gave me a party, and we ended up doing all kinds of stuff for them, and still do to this day. They transitioned to a paying client. They've brought us so much business because of the word of mouth, and it's just been
great
this
voice for our company.
Incredible relationship. Yeah, just a really, really great relationship for us. And so we're kind of talking about it again. We've actually got our eyes on a national celebrity that we have kind of opportunity to work with. And so one of the things we're going to kind of, we'd kind of love to do some events for you free of charge. And all you do is pay your expenses. We'll make it all happen, put it together, talk through it, whatever. And so definitely cautiously do that. And we'd love to
you gotta be
talk through that more.
Think about it, be selective and strategic. And I mean, you were very strategic with the person you selected. You were very upfront and honest and told them exactly what you were doing and the purpose of it and everything. They were totally cool with it, which is great.
I think
you don't want to do that for everybody.
I think a couple of things for me that remind me of that. I also have a friend who sells jewelry on an international level and has a jewelry company. And when they were first starting out, she actually sent her jewelry to like all the Oscar winners and to someone who's going to be on Good Morning America. She sent them her jewelry, and so they were showing it off, and that was part of the way it became. And she's kind of one of the people that first said to me, celebrities like free things, and so this person, for me, one of the things I knew about them was that they'd had some transparency issues with other people they'd used, and so this was kind of a way to come in and say, hey, we're going to be transparent in our reimbursements, we're going to be transparent in our fees and all that. And again, developing that relationship of trust. I don't know if you've been around a lot of super high demographic people, super wealthy people, but they do get taken advantage of a lot. And it's a horrible thing to me. It's just horrible. And so I think for them to learn to trust that they can trust you to take care of them. And especially when you're talking about, working with catering or working with things on their behalf. Are you going to take care of their property? Are you going to take care of them? Are you going to protect them? And so again, I was able to do that in a free situation. So yeah, number 10.
Make yourself findable. We talked a little bit about this earlier, but if you have to list yourself in the yellow pages, that's kind of old school.
Oh yeah, there's
deal. And of course, Google search. Make yourself findable on Google Maps, Google search. Facebook, be sure you've got a Facebook page out there that people can find you on Instagram, whatever. But make yourself so people can find you easily. Otherwise, if they can't find you, they're not going to book you.
I don't. I think outward promotion is sometimes offensive in our field. I think it's offensive to have your cards available at an event, sitting on a table, registration table or whatever. I think that's horribly offensive. I think it's offensive to even have your name in the program sometimes, or a lot of the time. But I don't think it's offensive to send a thank you note to the event committee or to people that include your business card. And I think even that's another way to make yourself findable, is people know, oh wow, that was a great event, and that's who did it. I knew he was involved.
We send flowers a lot of times to planning committees or even our clients. We have a little thank you gift we send to clients after an event, and it's a great way to make sure they know who you are.
Exactly. And can find us.
Remember you. Make yourself memorable.
So you did have to make a list of some of the warnings.
Yes, there's a few warnings.
Getting new clients. What?
One of my favorite, analogies or mentalities that I've heard about is there's the difference between red ocean and blue ocean. And some of you guys may have heard this already, but red ocean is basically where the shark is swimming around and he smells blood from a fish that's been hurt or something, and so the shark comes and he starts eating, and there's more blood, and so more sharks come, and pretty soon it's just a feeding frenzy, and all the sharks just end up getting hurt, and no one ends up getting more than just a little bite of fish or something. Well, the blue ocean theory is that there's plenty of fish in the sea for everybody. There's plenty of food for everybody. No one needs to go fighting over the food. And so I think that I like seeing that as our mindset. There's plenty of work for everybody. We can help each other find food, help each other succeed. And when we do that, we're much more likely to get what we want.
I think we've learned that the event planning world is, it sometimes seems like there's so many event planners out there, and then the next day you kind of realize, no, we're really a small group. And we work really hard to be friends with our competitors. In fact, a lot of times we don't even say they're our competitors. They're people who happen to be doing the same thing we're doing. Peers. Yeah. And I agree with Todd of you've really got to watch when you purposefully go after clients that your competitor has. And so we kind of have a no touch zone of, you just don't touch that client. And if the client comes to us, that's a different story. We still like to make sure they know who we are, but don't go after them. I think that's just bad business. And anything like that. I heard of someone once who was standing on the loading dock, counting the people coming in and making sure they knew who everything was because they went after the business the next day. And it's like, that's bad. Don't do that. And then the other part of that is definitely to not undercut the competition. And I think that's
it doesn't help anybody.
Yeah. No one wins in that. You get underpaid for your value. And, a lot of times as event planners, we don't even know what our competitors are charging. And I don't want to know. We're going to charge what we think we're worth and what we think we need to get for an event. And that's another podcast. In fact, I think we're going to have a couple more of those. But you don't need to play those games where you're trying to charge less, because I think the value becomes less. So anyway, so there you go. We've got 10 ways.
Review the 10 ways.
Expand and carefully maintain your network. That's an important one. Number 2, expand your services, diversify, become bigger. Number 3, narrow your services, specialize. Number 4, expand your services to existing clients. Do more for them than you've been doing. Number 5, leverage existing vendor relationships. Number 6, market to targeted list of potential clients. Number 7, increase your visibility. Number 8, let your current clients know that you want more clients like them. Number 9, do free work for influential individuals. And number 10, make yourself findable. So this has been really fun today.
Good stuff.
Please like us, find us. Yeah, we'd love to know how you get more clients. If you got other ideas, email us. Email me at joe@rumbledrum.com.
Or email me at todd@rumbledrum.com.
Or email both of us. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear some of your takeaways from the podcast. Be sure and subscribe, like us on Facebook, review us. All those things are so meaningful to us. You have no idea. Helpful. It just really means the world to us to do that. So take time to do that and let us know what's most beneficial to you. Continue to tell your friends. If you have friends who are event planners, let them know that we're out here and we're trying to help build your business. We want you to be successful. We want you to do well. We want you to make lots of money and conquer your dreams. And so that's what we're here for, is to help you do that. We'd love for you to tune in next week. It's a really fun topic, episode 9, and we want you to be a part of that. So again, thanks for tuning in this week, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
Take care.